Thank you for your patience as I saw my friend Guy to the door. Yes, I believe that he will now have some solace for his troubles, I should say. These? Yes, these are the correspondence between Guy and the newspaper who wrote the obituary for his love. He wants me to write a little commentary in my new publication. I'm going to call it The Stylus. It'll be my first attempt at my own literary work, but he says that he believes that the commentary between the two of them will help to serve a good editorial piece for the publication. Let's see, they started by saying, broken is the golden bowl, the spirit flown forever. Let the bell toll, a saintly soul floats on the Stygian river. And Guy de Vere, hast thou no tear? Weep now or nevermore. For on yon drear and rigid bier low lies thy love Lenore. Come, let the burial rite be read, the funeral song be sung, an anthem for the queenliest dead that ever died so young. A dirge for her, the doubly dead, in that she died so young. Wretches, ye loved her for her wealth and hated her for her pride. And when she fell in feeble health, ye blessed her that she died. How shall the funeral rite be read, the requiem how be sung? By you, by yours, the evil eye, by yours, the slanderous tongue, that did to death the innocents that died and died so young. Covimus, but rave not thus, and let the Sabbath song go up to God so solemnly, so the dead may feel no wrong. The sweet Lenore hath gone before with hope that flew beside, leaving thee wild for the dear child that should have been thy bride. For her, the fair and debonair that now so lowly lies, life upon her yellow hair, but not within her eyes. Life still there upon her hair, death upon her eyes. Avaunt! Avaunt! Tonight my heart is light, no dirge will I upraise, but waft the angel on her flight with a paean of old days. Let no bell toll, lest her sweet soul, amid its hallowed mirth, should catch a note as it doth float up from the damned earth. To friends above, from fiends below, the indignant ghost is riven, from hell unto a high estate far up within the heavens. From grief and groan to a golden throne beside the King of heaven. Yes, I believe I will add that to my publication. I will call it Lenore, for him and for her. It's good to see that at one point he was, shall we say, joyful in her loss. But now it appears as though he's become quite grim, quite depressed. It seems as though he's had a visitor for some time. I would say these past few weeks, it has troubled him. He cannot seem to get rid of it. He told me the whole story of this visitor, and I wrote down every bit of it. He came here tonight to tell me, and he said, that once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, nothing more." It was in the bleak December, distinctly I remember, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore, a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Deep into thy darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence remained unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there that was spoken was the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo muttered back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutters, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped the stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obedience made he, not a moment stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a blasted bust of palace, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Well, this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art shorn, O craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely, on that placid bust spoke only that one word, as if in that one word his soul he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Within the bird said, nevermore. The raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what this ghastly, grim, ungainly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, nevermore. Then methinks the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe. Forget thy memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind of nepenthe. Forget thy lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn thou hast clasped a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasped a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird of fiend, I shrieked up starting. Get thee back into thy tempest on the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak out from thy heart. Take thy foam off from thy door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on that placid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted, nevermore. As I said, I wrote down every bit of this. I will include it in my publication as well. I shall entitle it The Raven. But I tell you, this brought great alarm to me for my friend. I was really disturbed by what he was experiencing, that I thought maybe I could offer him some solace in my own heartache. I told him that I too have once lost a great love. She was very dear to me. I told him that it was many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. She was a child, and I was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. That was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, that a wind came out of the cloud, chilling my Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. And yes, that is the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that a wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. The stars never rise, for I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. Upon hearing this, I think it may have helped a little, because he started to ask a few questions. He asked me, how do I find solace? Where do I find my comfort? I chuckled and said, my comfort is here. He told me, no, that was not for him. He could not. So the next best thing I could do was give an address to my friend, Dr. Henry Jekyll. Yes, he has been working on serums, I take it, for some emotional control. I think he's having some success, but I thought he might be able to help Guy. So as you arrived, I was walking him to the door with the address in hand, and hopefully he will find what he is looking for with him. But enough about Guy, enough about me. You are not here to listen to my sad songs or his, and how we're so depressed and dying within the wine. No, you're here for something completely different. So, let's see, where shall we begin? I believe that... Oh, hold a second. There's someone at the door. I shall be right back. Interesting. Package has arrived. Let's see. There we are then. It says, it's from Roderick Usher. Roderick Usher. This cannot be. You see, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. You see, I wrote down the entire account in my books. It was during the whole of a dull, dark, and soundless day in the autumn of the year I passed alone, on horseback, when at length I found myself in view of the melancholy house of Usher, I knew not how it was, but upon first glimpse of the building, a sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. I looked upon the scene before me. What was it that so unnerved me in the contemplation of the house of Usher? Nevertheless, in this mansion of gloom, I proposed to myself a sojourn of some weeks. Its proprietor, Roderick Usher, had been one of my boon companions in boyhood. A letter had lately reached me. The writer spoke of an acute bodily illness of a mental disorder which afflicted him. That, and of an earnest desire to see me, with the view of attempting some alleviation of his malady. A servant in waiting took my horse, and I entered in through the Gothic archway of the hall. On one of the many staircases, I met the family physician. His countenance, I thought, wore a mingled expression of low cunning and perplexity. He accosted me with trepidation and then passed on. Now, the valet threw open a set of doors and ushered me into the presence of his master. Usher arose from a sofa and greeted me with a vivacious warmth that had much in it. We sat down, and for a few moments, while we spoke not, I gazed upon him with a feeling of half pity and half awe. Surely no man had ever so altered in so brief a period as had Roderick Usher. It was thus that he spoke of the object of my visit, his earnest desire to see me, and the solace he expected me to afford him. He spoke at length on what he conceived to be the nature of his malady. He suffered much from a morbid acuteness of the senses, to which I found him an abounden slave. He said, "I believe that the period will come, sooner or later, where I must abandon all reason and life together in some struggle with the grim phantasm, fear." He admitted, although hesitantly, that much of his peculiar gloom could be traced to the severe and long-continued illness of a tenderly beloved sister, his only living relative on earth. Her decease, he said with a bitterness which I can never forget, would make him the last of the ancient race of Ushers. At the closing in of the evening of my arrival, her brother informed me that she had succumbed to the prostrating power of her destroyer. He stated his intention of preserving her for a fortnight previously to her final interment in one of the many vaults within the main walls of the building. At the request of Usher, I aided him in the temporary entombment. The body having been engulfed, we two, alone, bore it to its rest. The vault in which we placed it was directly beneath that portion of the building in which was my personal sleeping apartment. Having secured the door of iron, we made our way with toil to the scarcely less gloomy apartments of the upper portion of the house. And now, some days of bitter grief have elapsed. An observable change has come over the features of the mental disorder of my friend. He now roamed from chamber to chamber with hurried, unequal, and objectless step. There were times, indeed, where I thought his unceasingly agitated mind labored with a secret to divulge, for which he struggled for the necessary courage. At times, I beheld him gazing upon vacancy for long hours, as if listening to an inaudible sound. It was no wonder that his condition terrified. No. That it infected me. It was upon retiring to bed, late in the night, on the 7th or 8th day after the placing of the Lady Madeline within the donjon, that I experienced the full power of these feelings. Sleep came not near my couch. As the hours waned and waned away, I struggled to reason off the nervousness that held dominion over me. Pulling myself upon the pillows and peering earnestly into the darkness, hearkened to low and certain sounds which came through the pauses of a storm, at long intervals, I knew not whence. Overcome by the sentiment of horror, I threw my clothes on with haste, when a footstep on an adjoining staircase arrested my attention. I immediately perceived it at Usher's, and within an instant, he entered, bearing a lamp. "Have you not seen it?" I stared about him for a few minutes in silence. He said, "Then you have not seen it. But stay a while. You shall." Thus speaking, he quickly shaded his lamp and threw open a casement freely to the storm. "You must not! You shall not behold this," I said, and led him with a gentle violence from the window to a seat. "These appearances which bewilder you are merely electrical phenomena, not uncommon. Or it may be that they have their ghastly origin in the rank miasma of the time. Come, let us close this casement. The air is chilling and dangerous to your frame." At the termination of my sentence, it appeared to me that from some remote portion of the mansion there came indistinctly to my ears what might have been a cracking and ripping sound. Here again, I did actually hear a low, distinct, most unusual screaming and grating sound. Oppressed, as I certainly was, by the second occurrence of the most extraordinary coincidence, I still maintained the presence of mind, not to upset the sensitive nervousness of my companion. I was by no means certain that he had heard the sounds in question, but most assuredly an alteration had taken place in his demeanor. Having rapidly taken notice of all of this, I became aware of a low, metallic, clangorous, yet muffled reverberation. I leapt on my feet. The measured rocking movement of Usher remained undisturbed. I rushed over to where he sat, placed my hand upon his shoulder. There came a shudder over his whole person. I noticed that he spoke in a low, hurried, gibbering murmur. Bending closely to him, I at length drank in the hideous import of his words. "Not seen it? Yes, I've seen it. I've heard it. Heard it. Long, many minutes, many hours, many days I've heard it. Oh, but I dare not. Oh, I dare not speak. Miserable wretch that I am. Oh, no, I dare not speak. We have placed her living in the tomb. Had I not told you that my senses were acute? Yes, I heard her movements, her feeble movements in the coffin many, many days ago. Oh, but I dare not speak. Oh, but now tonight. Oh, tonight. Oh, whither shall I run? Will she not be here anon? Will she not upbraid me for my haste? Do I not hear her footstep on the stair? Do I not distinguish her heavy and horrible heartbeat, madman? Here, he leapt on his feet and shrieked out every syllable, as if in the effort he were giving up his soul. "Madman! I tell you, she now stands without the door!" As if there was superhuman energy in his utterance that potency of a spell. The antique panels to which the speaker pointed threw slowly back, and there did stand the lofty and enshrouded figure of the Lady Madeline of Usher. There was blood upon her white robes, and evidence of a bitter struggle upon every portion of her emaciated frame. And now, with a low moaning cry, fell inward heavily upon the person of her brother, and now, in her violent and fatal death agonies, bore him to the floor a corpse, and a victim to the terrors he had anticipated. From that chamber, from that mansion, I fled aghast. The storm was abroad in all of its wrath, as I found myself crossing the old causeway, and suddenly a light shot upon the path. I turned to see whence such a light so unusual could have issued, as the vast mansion and its shadows were alone behind me. The radiance was that of a full, setting, blood-red moon. There came a fierce whirlwind, and the entire orb of the satellite burst into my eyes. My brain reeled as I watched the mighty walls rush asunder. There came a loud, tumultuous shouting sounding the voice of 1,000 waters, and the deep, dank tarn at my feet closed silently and sullenly over the fragments of the house of Usher. So what is this? No!
Fortunato! Good evening!
Good Montresor, dear friend, welcome!
It is good to see you, Montresor.
Oh, likewise, my lady.
Do not be so formal. I may be newly married, but I am still your close friend.
Pardon me, Sylvia. It is good to see you as well.
Well, I take it you're enjoying the festivities.
Oh, yes, lovely. You have quite the guest list, I see. Why, I shan't be surprised if Queen Victoria of England were to arrive.
Well, an invitation was sent.
Of course it was. But yet, here the two of you are, sequestered in this study.
Oh, you can understand, I'm sure, Montresor. Every moment with this luscious rose must be treasured.
Oh, Fortunato.
'Tis true, my lady. I am intoxicated by your presence.
Darling, you're making an ass out of yourself in front of our friends.
You've seen worse, have you not, Montresor?
Oh, yes.
Oh, but Montresor is right. We should spend time with our guests. Besides, you will have an abundance of time alone with me after we depart tomorrow.
Depart?
Yes, a trip to the east. I'm taking my new wife to see the wonders of the Orient. Oh, a splendid honeymoon.
Wonderful.
Oh, it is so good to see you again, Montresor. It has been too long. The wine is to your taste, I hope.
Yes, fine.
Well, you know, it is Carnival after all. Nothing but the finest for my guests. Our guests. You see, Montresor, one of the pitfalls of marriage is you have to pay attention to your adjectives. But you're a lucky man, huh? Still in the throes of bachelorhood. No chains to bind you that I can see, huh? Enjoy it. I know I did. Some would say more than I should have, but you remember.
Yes.
Fortunato!
What is it?
It's nothing. It's not.
He has been suffering from an irritation of the lungs.
It's a mere hiccup.
Oh, it kept him in bed for over a week.
Oh, and what better place to be with a nursemaid like this, eh, Montresor? Oh, her remedy. Soothing and warm.
Perhaps we should retire for the rest of the night. Rejoin our guests.
The heck with our guests. Our guests are drunk already. Speaking of which, I could use a little more wine. How about you, Montresor?
No, thank you.
Milady?
Not for me, darling.
As you wish. Wine steward!
I trust you had a full recovery, Montresor?
Recovery?
Why, the illness that beset you a few weeks back. You were unable to attend our wedding. I do hope your mental capacity was not compromised.
Not any more than before my affliction. My treatment continues, but I truly believe that I will soon be better than before. Maybe better than ever before.
Well, that is superb, Montresor. I'm so glad of it. I sometimes worry for you. Here, to your health, friendship, and well-being.
Cheers. And you, my dear, are you quite happy?
Of course. Happy to be married at last.
Yes, but does he treat you well?
Oh, yes, he treats me well. But you know,
Yes?
Fortunato is Fortunato. It has been a bit of an adjustment for him. You know, he's always been a bit wild and a little bit self-absorbed.
A little.
Yes, a little bit self-absorbed. But I know he loves me, and he will provide a good home for me.
But what of you, Sylvia? When we were young, you always spoke about marrying for true love.
True love? That is but the talk of children. When you get to my age, marriage becomes a means of necessity. I could no longer continue to live off my father.
But you had opportunities.
Yes, I had opportunities, but I let them pass, waiting for the one that would complete my existence and bond with my soul. But that person never presented himself. I could no longer wait. And besides, Fortunato is not a bad choice. Look at all he has done for me so far. And I know he loves me.
Sylvia.
Were I a suspicious man, I'd find this picture offensive.
Did you find
But since it's only Montresor, I feel no resentment.
Did you find your wine, darling?
Oh, I did, and while I have you both engaged, I must thank my dear friend.
Thank me.
Well, without you, I would have never discovered this lovely creature.
Oh, please.
No, it's just true. If I had not gone to visit him and met you in the process, we would not be married these 3 weeks.
Yes.
To tell you the truth, I thought you were hiding her from me.
What?
Fortunato.
Oh, no, how long have we known each other? Since the university in Paris, 15, 20 years ago? Traveling through the continent, through the Orient, and all this time back home, your childhood best friend was this radiant beauty.
Oh, you flatter me too much.
No, I don't think so.
No, see, Montresor agrees.
Yes.
In fact, Montresor, I thought the two of you were betrothed, if you know what I mean.
Betrothed?
Well, sure. All those times I was out chasing women and you could have followed suit. You never did. I was sure there was some woman at home that had your heart, and then when I met the beautiful Sylvia.
Oh, Montresor has never been more than a dear friend, my darling.
Yes.
Oh, I know that now, but hey, thank you, Montresor. Thank you for saving me from a life of drunken debauchery. I know my family is happy. Now if they could only get me to go to work.
Fortunato.
It's fine. Nothing the wine can't help.
Speaking of wine,
Yes.
Fortunato,
Yes.
today I was offered a pipe of what passes for Amontillado, but I have my doubts.
A pipe? Amontillado?
I have my doubts.
During Carnival? Amontillado?
I have my doubts.
What do you mean a pipe?
A pipe, a cask. Amontillado?
I have my doubts.
Oh, Amontillado.
But before I complete the transaction, I want an expert tongue to confirm it. Tomorrow I shall implore Lucchesi, and if he agrees it to be true, we shall celebrate my palazzo anon.
Lucchesi couldn't tell the difference between Amontillado and sherry.
Really? Well, some would have it that his taste is a rival for your own.
Let's go!
Whither?
Well, to taste the Amontillado. Where is it kept?
In a vault below the river.
Well, then let's go.
No, my friend, now is not the time.
Why, do you not have access?
Yes, I do. Well, it was my neighbor, you see. My vaults connect. He made the offer.
You mean Signor Braccio?
I?
Oh, that's not far off. Let us off.
My friend, no. You have a party to attend to, and guests.
Ah, my guests are well met. Besides, I'm no longer a single host. My lovely Sylvia can take care of my guests, can you not, my love?
Of course, darling.
My friend, no, Sylvia. You mustn't allow him to abandon you for a sampling of wine. I am sure Lucchesi will consent tomorrow.
Ah, Lucchesi cannot tell the difference between Amontillado and Chianti.
That may be. But tonight is a special night for the both of you, and I shan't interrupt.
But you already have Montessor. Let Fortunato help you. Besides, you know as well as I do that we will not have any peace until he samples that Amontillado.
There, it's settled. We're off.
I am more than happy to wait.
As you wish.
Montessor.
Sylvia, I shall see you anon.
Oh, take care of our guests, my darling, but don't wait up. The Amontillado, let's go.
Fortunato?
Oh, it's nothing.
Come, we will go back. The air in these vaults will only exacerbate that cough.
No, the pipe, the Amontillado.
It is still a ways on, but observe the white webwork which gleams from the walls.
Niter?
Niter, how long have you had that cough?
Oh, it's nothing.
No, we shall go back. Your health is precious. You are rich and admired and respected. You are as happy as I have only ever dreamed of. And now, you are a man to be missed. Sylvia, remember?
This cough is a nothing. It will not kill me. I shall not die of a cough.
True. Well, since you insist, I thank you. But you should use proper precaution. A taste of this medoc will defend us against the damp and cold. Drink.
I drink to all the spirits that join us here. Mhm.
And I to your long life.
My God, what a vast expanse of vaults here.
Yes, my family was once great in number.
Of course. Remind me, what was your coat of arms?
Yes, a human foot crushing a serpent whose fangs are embedded in the heel.
And your motto?
Nemo me impune lacessit.
And?
No one provokes me with impunity.
Really?
Yes? And?
Matter our swords, excuse me.
What?
It's kind of a militant motto, considering. I apologize.
No, it's quite all right. The motto is a bit strong, I admit. I do like it, though.
Oh, of course you do. So do I. You know what you need, Montessor? A wife.
Wife?
Yes, a wife. I mean, you're a man of substance and standing. Well, look at my family. We're so rich as to be an empire, and yet all the wealth in the world could not buy the happiness of having my Sylvia asleep at my side every evening.
Yes, I can imagine.
Well, don't imagine. Run out and grab her. Seize her. Oh, you will not be disappointed, I assure you.
Really?
You know my story. Oh, the Parisian girls. The Florentine orgies. The brothels of the Orient, and yet, as ravenous as I was, my Sylvia is all I need.
Oh. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything. I am just so happy to know that I will not die alone. I want the same for you. But enough of this melancholy talk. Let's find the Amontillado.
It is a ways off, but let's go back. Sylvia awaits.
Ah, Sylvia can await. It's the Amontillado that cannot await. Come on, let's go find it.
As you wish. Fortunato.
Oh, yeah, lead on.
Actually, my friend, there is someone.
Someone?
Yes, someone who has my interest.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
A certain widow has caught my eye.
A widow! Ah, Montresor, you dog! Splendid! Share with me! Share with me!
No. No, Fortunato. I must be cautious. She is a lovely woman, compassionate, intelligent, and very, very sensitive, especially right now. Her grief is, well, shall we say, fresh. I must behave properly. You allow her the time she needs.
Yes, of course, propriety, I understand, but you will be there in her time of need, will you not? When she needs comfort, you'll be there to support her, right? And let nature take its course, so to speak?
Oh, I will, my friend, have no doubt.
Ah, you're a good man. You surprise me. I don't remember you this way, but it is a good thing.
Yes, times have changed, Fortunato. See, the nitre, it increases. It hangs from the walls and ceiling like moss. Oh, come, we are below the River Arno, my neighbor's property. This takes too long. We shall go back. You'll cough.
No, I'll be fine. Perhaps another taste of the Medoc. What? You do not comprehend?
No.
As I thought, you are not of the Brotherhood.
Brotherhood?
You're not a Mason.
Oh, yes, I am.
Ah, a Mason you couldn't be. The Masons have ruled the world for centuries.
So we have.
What order?
Pardon?
You didn't recognize my sign. What order of the Brotherhood are you?
Oh, the most humble of orders.
Do you carry that with you all the time? What is that for?
Only to amuse, my friend, only to amuse.
No, it amuse it does. I tell you, I like this change in you. When you were young, you were so predictable. This is wonderful, Montresor.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now, where's the Amontillado?
Fortunato. We have arrived.
What is this place? I see no wine, just a pile of stones below a broken wall.
What? Right there, Fortunato. In that niche in the wall. Therein lies the Amontillado.
The Amontillado? In there? In that small area? Why would it be in such a place?
Ours is not to question, my friend, only to partake.
'Tis true.
Oh, my friend, you are not well. The nitre down here, it's too much. You can barely breathe. Come, let us go back. Sylvia will begin to worry. Tomorrow, I will entreat Lucchesi.
No, Lucchesi is an ignoramus. Montresor, the Amontillado.
Is it not there?
There's nothing here but a solid wall.
Oh, I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. I thought I knew the way in. Come, it's getting late. We shall go back. Sylvia.
The Amontillado, Montresor. The Amontillado.
Yes. The Amontillado.
What? What is this? Montresor, this will not help. What are you doing?
Pass your hand over the wall, Fortunato. You can't help but feel the niter. It's down. So once more, let me implore you to return to your wife as she waits. No? Well, then I must positively leave you. But first, let me render you all the little attentions in my power.
Montresor, are you mad? This will not help. What is this? A good joke. You jest. the innocent mason. Oh, we will have a good laugh over this back at your palazzo tomorrow. Hey, Montresor.
Yes.
We'll laugh over the wine, yes?
The Amontillado?
Oh, yes, the Amontillado. But it's getting late, and my guests, they're waiting for me, and Sylvia.
Oh, yes, Sylvia. Yes. She will wait. But don't worry, my friend. No, I will comfort her. As I have wanted to for so many years.
But I asked you so many times. I implored you.
She was special, Fortunato. Special. Not like all of your whores. You should have left her alone. She desires to be loved above all things, above anything else, including your precious Amontillado.
But you said she was only a friend.
She was. But I wanted more.
Well, then why didn't you? Why didn't you do something about it?
I didn't know how.
Montresor!
I just didn't know how.
Montresor!
But now I do. Oh, yes. A collapse in the vaults below the river. So sad. News of a husband's untimely death.
Montresor, for the love of God, Montresor!
But she will make a lovely widow. Don't you agree?
Montresor!
Yes, for the love of God.
I thank all of you for coming. I hope that you enjoyed today's show. I'd like to say a few thank yous before we depart. To everyone who helped me build the set. It'd be Dr. Triana helped me build it. Roger with the Swamp Fox Theater. I'm not sure what Roger's last name is, or I would say it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. As well as Mark Bolden, who helped me. Designing and painting the set was April Bench. She did a lovely job. I helped where I could, but nowhere near as what she did or could do. She also did the painting for us as well. To my fellow actors, Heidi McCarty and Dave Snight, who helped me out. lighting director here, Camille McCarty. My stage hands and crew, Eric Lucas and Evan Aaronswood. And thank you to my family who endured me having to do all of this at the detriment of them and our relationship. So.